One. Okay, so let's take a look at our code for jumper. All right, so go into GridWorld folder and your projects and your jumper folder that we made up. Right, we have a jumper folder for this, okay? It's alongside like first project and box bug. Critters is part 4. You're gonna have to play with this on your own somewhat. I don't know if we're gonna have a lot of time to play around with part 4 at all. All right, so jumper. Here's jumper runner. Come on, jumper runner. All right, very simple. Okay, all it does is it creates a grid with an active world object, and we created several unnamed objects. One of them is a jumper, and we got 2 bugs and 2 rocks and 2 flowers, and we just added them all to the world. Yeah. All right, so that's your tester, and these are all the imports that we needed. I think, right? That's all we needed. Is that it? Yeah, I guess so. All right, so where is jumper itself? Here it is. Come on, jumper. Runner. Okay. You got it? Okay. All right, so let's go back here. Boom. Anyone need a printout? Anyone missing any of this from last week? Okay. All right, so here is jumper. All right, now jumper, we imported color because we're using the color class here. We imported actor because we're extending it. We imported the location class because we're using some locations finals. We imported the grid class, or the grid class, well, it's really the grid interface that is implemented in the bounded grid class because we have a grid object here. Okay? And let's see, what did we got so far? Jumper defaults to purple, or you can set it up with any color you want when you construct it. Okay, now the act method is different. Instead of if can move, move, then turn, it's if can jump, then jump, else turn. So it's almost the same idea, but we're jumping instead of moving. The turn method, we just copied it from the bug class. There's nothing new here. And here is the jump method. Well, wait a minute, we aren't done, because if this is the jump method, where's the canJump Boolean? We didn't write that, did we? We didn't write the Boolean, did you? Did you write the Boolean? Yeah, we didn't write that. All right, we got to write that. But anyway, here's the jump method itself. We modeled this exactly, almost exactly like the move method, okay? First, we figured out what grid we're in. Then we figured out if the grid was null, we just exit the method. It's over. If it's not null, then we get the current location of your object, the location 1 cell away, and yes, I know, go away, and the location 2 cells away in the direction that we're facing, right? So get location from the location class tells me where my object is. Lock.get adjacent location, get direction tells me the cell right ahead. And then if I'm doing next dot, it's almost like I'm doing a lock.get adjacent.get adjacent, right? Because next is based on lock. So next.get adjacent location, get direction is again in the same direction, but the next cell 2 away. Then we said, okay, if that cell is valid, go there. Else, otherwise, you're removing yourself from the grid. And, huh? Grid. There's a grid. There's a grid object. Okay, now, huh?
Jump off a cliff and then literally just call super.remove self from grid.
Sure, go ahead. Go for it.
Yeah,
Okay, so that's what it does when it jumps, but we didn't deal with the case where can it jump? We still have to write the Boolean method canJump, right? Oh, we can't test this yet because it's using canJump here, yes? I got jump, but I don't have canJump. Let's write canJump. All right, does everyone have this so far up to here? Everyone has this up to here? Yeah. Say again? What did I do? What did I do? Remove, where the hell is it? From grid. Yeah, you didn't know about the grid class? Oh, jeez, you know. Okay, thank you. Yeah, that would be a problem. Okay, so let's write the predicate method, a Boolean accessor call. All right, how do you write canJump? Public. Public what? Not void. It's not a mutator. It's an accessor. What does it return though? It returns stuff. Well, remember where we're using it. We're using it in an if statement. What does if want here? It needs a, what does if need here? Something that's either a Boolean, true or false, right? So that's exactly what this does.
This is totally awesome. I now have a jump off click method.
You too.
Yeah, and I'm using it in the code too. And instead of the remove self from grid call, I just changed it to jump off cliff.
Okay. All right, let's just focus on one thing at a time. Yeah, I don't think they'll be too happy with that. All right. Shh. Okay, listen. Now, shh. This is just like a free response question about GridWorld on the AP exam where they're going to ask you to modify some code that's in the booklet. So what do? You look at the booklet and you base your code on that code, right? Didn't we base all of this stuff on the move method in bug? In fact, this technically shouldn't be here. They didn't ask for this part. I'm going to take that out for a second. They didn't ask for this part, throwing a flower behind.
Yeah, but it just makes it easier.
You can if you want, but I'm going to leave it out for now because that's what they asked for. They didn't ask for a flower. All right, so leave that out for now. But remember, we sort of stole that from the move method in bug, which does that. All right, so if jump is modeled after move, canJump is modeled after canMove. So why don't we look at canMove in the quick reference guide? So let's do that. All right, where's my quick reference guide? Do I have it here? Maybe not. Here's a quick reference guide right here. Okay? All right. So we modeled jump on move, right? Now let's model canJump on canMove. Okay, we're going to do a lot of the same stuff. Okay? Shh. Listen. Okay, so we're going to figure out what grid we're in, get the grid. If it's null, return false, and we can't move, we can't jump, in other words, right? So that's the same. Then we have to worry about what location we're at, get location. That's the same. Then we have to worry about the next location. That's how you get it, right? And if it's not valid, you'll return false. You can't move there either. Okay, fine. But now remember, what's special about the cell right in front of the jumper? What's special about the cell next? Next is the location of the cell right in front of your jumper. What's special about it? That's what we're jumping over, right? Now, there's some stuff we're going to allow it to jump over, and some stuff that we're not going to allow it to jump over. So that would make it easy, right? So we have to figure out what's there. So at this point, we have to figure out, okay, what actor is there? We got to do the same thing. Got to do exact same thing right here, right? But then we have to say, if it's not a null, right? It can jump over a null, right? What else can it jump over? What did we decide? A rock and a flower, I think, right? So if it's not a null, or if it's not a flower, or if it's not a rock, return what? Can you jump? You're only allowed to jump over blank, an empty space, like null, a rock or a flower. So if it's not null, or it's not a rock, or it's not a flower, what do you return? What Boolean do you return in canJump? Can you jump? False. So there you go. So we got to write that. That's new. That's not here. That's extra. Okay, then we got to worry about 2 spaces away. Can we jump into that cell? Right? So we have to figure out where 2 away is. That's not here. And then if it's if it's not valid, we got to return what? What if that cell 2 away is not valid?
Well, how do you know what it's going to be valid as?
We're going to have to do like a gr.isValid. Right? So if you do a gr.isValid of next, you have to do a gr.isValid of 2 away. Don't we have like a 2 away in move? Let's do a 2 away here too, okay? Then we got to figure out what's there. What object is there? And then we got to see if we're allowed to jump on it. What are we allowed to jump on? The 2 away, are we allowed to jump onto anything? We got to jump, we can jump on a null, it's empty, right? What else can we jump on? A flower like a bug. And let's make it interesting. What if we allow it to jump on bugs too? What the hell? Okay? So that's what's missing. So we're going to write basically all of this same code, but then we got to add the stuff for 2 away. Okay, let's do that. All right, so we're going to write all the same stuff, except for we're going to add the 2 away stuff. Wait a minute. I lost my stuff. Where's my stuff? Here it is. Okay, so let's start exactly the same way as canMove did. First, we figured out what grid we were in. How do you do that? Let me move this up a little bit. How do you figure out what grid you're in? Well, actually, you know, if I leave jump up, okay. Remember, can move and move started the same way. How? So can jump and jump are going to start the same way. How? Figure out what grid you're in. So grid, actor, call it whatever you want. I'm going to call it GR, equals get grid from the grid class, right? Get grid. Okay, and what do we want to know about get grid or about GR? What if your object was removed from the grid at some point? You need to know if the grid is what? If it's not there, what is it then if it's not there? It's null. So if GR is null, remember this is a Boolean, what are you going to return? False, right? If it's not, if there's no, if you can't, if you're not in a grid, you can't move or jump, right? Yeah, we're gonna. Yeah, why not? Yeah.
What if it's a box bug?
Box bug is a bug. It'll allow it. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Right. Okay. No. This class extends actor. Yeah, I can jump on box bug because it extends bug. Right. Exactly. All right. So again, so the jump method and the can jump method start the same way. Just like the move method and the can move method started the same way. So we've got this part done, right? I just did that. All right, let's move this up a little bit. All right, what else do you want to do? What's next? What's the next line? Well, just like in jump, what was the next line up there? Right? What's the next line after if GR is null, return false? Don't we have to get the location? We have to figure out if it's valid, all that fun stuff? Right, okay, so let's do that. All right, so remember, we have to do something. In here, we're only worried about two away. Because if you call jump, you're allowed to jump. But in here, we have to worry about next. Not just two away, but next, because we're allowed to jump over certain things in next and jump onto certain things in two away, right? So let's deal with next first. I'm going to do all of this same stuff right here. Okay, so location, call it whatever you want. They called it lock. I'm going to call it lock. Equals get location, your current location for your jumper.
Hey, that's so weird. The bugs will just die if you step on them.
Well, yeah.
There's no remove self from grid command on them. They've never been removed from the grid, but they're just not there.
Yeah, that's interesting.
That seems like that's not a good thing to have in your code.
Yeah, that would be an inconsistent bug, wouldn't it? Is there some way to avoid that? Does it remove itself from the grid?
Well, I don't know, but they're no longer on the grid.
Yeah, right. Which is the idea. Yeah, you want that. But
like Mario.
yeah. All right. Anyway,
Jump on their heads.
wow, I know how to spell location. Okay. All right. So location next equals lock dot get adjacent. I'm just going to copy adjacent location in the direction you're facing. Right. And now, don't worry about two away just yet. Let's worry about next. What are you worried about in next? There's two things you have to worry about in next.
Does it exist?
If you're allowed to jump over it, and if it exists, right? Exactly. So, how do you know if it exists? If gr dot is valid, right? Remember we looked at the can move method. At this point we checked if it is valid. So if it's not, gr dot is valid at next.
My jumper ate all my bugs. It's just a jumper. I had like 4 bugs on this page.
Then you're going to return what? If next is not valid, what are you going to return? Remember, this is a Boolean method. You actually have to return something. What do you return? False. Right, exactly. Now, notice I'm using the braces. They don't use the braces if it's a single line in your then clause or line in your else clause or single line in your loop. You don't need the braces, but I like to put the braces in there, make it easy to read the code. So let's do that. All right, so if the grid isn't valid, if next is not valid in the grid, I'm saying not valid. See the not? Then I'm going to return false. Okay. Now, what else do you have to worry about at next? Remember, you're only allowed to jump over what? Rocks and flowers and empty spaces, right? So you have to figure out what object is there. Now, do you know what type it is? Can you say like bug? It's a bug. It's another jumper. It's a box bug. Do you know what it is? So it's an actor, right? So actor. All right, how about I call it, I don't know, neighbor? The guy right in front of you is your neighbor, I guess. All right, so actor neighbor equals, how do you figure out what's there? And that's a grid method, right? So gr.get next. So next is a location. Get next in the grid world, in the grid class, gives you the object at that location. Okay? So there you go. So now you know what's there. So what are you worried about? Why are you worried about what object is at next?
You need to jump over it.
Right. So if it's not, if your neighbor is not a null, or not a flower, or not a rock, then you return false. I'm only interested in returning false because then the method is done. And if you return false, you're done. Right? I'm trying to figure out all the falsehoods so that I can figure out when it's true. Easier, right? So if the grid is null, return false. Can't do anything. If the location right in front of you is not there, return false. You can't do anything. If, now ready? Are you hang on to your hats here. No, because there's two possibilities here. You also have to worry about a two away.
Right. Do that right before they
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm going to make it shorter, though. That's all. All right, look. This is what I got. Ready? All right, hang on, hang on. I want to do, if the neighbor is not a null, this is what I want. If the neighbor is not a null, or it's not a flower, or it's not a rock, I want to return false. This is what I want, right? Okay? So what's missing here? How do you know if it's not a neighbor, or a rock, or a flower? Here's the not. How do you find out if it is empty, if that cell is empty? Well, I did that. I did the GR is valid already, and I got the G. So that's, if I'm here, it is valid, right? Now I got gr.get. Now I have the actual object there. It's a flower, or it's a jumper. It's, I don't know what the hell it is, right? But if it's null, I can jump over it. So how do you know if it's null? What's missing? Right there. Well, what was the point of this? To figure out exactly what object is there. This actor object contains the object at next. So you want to test it. You want to know if neighbor is what? If it's null. Right, there you go. All right, if it's null, if it's not null, return false. Why? If the neighbor at next is not null, return false. Why? Damn it. Did I spell it wrong? Oh, yeah, I did. Duh. Okay. If it's not the case that neighbor is null, I got to return false. In other words, I can't jump. Why? Because you can jump over. What can you jump over? A flower, a rock, or a null. So if it's not a null, return false. If it's not a null, you can't jump. But wait, that's not it. That's not all of it. Or, remember or? That's shift backspace, two of them. Or, how do you know if it's a flower? How do you know if that neighbor is a flower object? See, right now I know it's an actor, but I don't know if it's a flower or if it's a bug or if it's something else. Instant stuff, right. So if it's not true that the neighbor is null or that the neighbor is an instance of, remember the instance of operator, returns true or false, of what, of flower? Okay. Is that it? Are you done? What else? One more thing. What else? What should I type right there? If it's not a null, I'm going to return false. If it's not a flower, I'm going to return false. Or, how do you do or again? How do you do or? Shift backspace twice, that's the or symbol. Or what? Neighbor instance of rock. And remember, instance of is weird. It's not in camel case. It's all lowercase. And that's the rock class, yeah. Yeah, Alana? All right, so now notice that close parentheses starts at the opening here at the if. Why is that bad? Why is that bad? What's missing? I have an open close here.
You need another close.
I have an open close here. I didn't even open this one. Open this one. Does it close there? If I open it here, does it close there?
No, it closes there.
No, it closes there. Right. Whoops, not there, there. I know, shut up. Okay. I'm talking to the computer, it's okay. All right, this is one heck of a long if clause, right? If it's not true that the neighbor is no, or that the neighbor is a flower, or that the neighbor is an instance of rock, that's when you return false. Otherwise, it might still be true. But wait, there's still times it could be false. What else do you have to worry about?
The location it's going to.
Right, so I need that location 2 away again.
Why is the actor, it spins, and then it just stops, and then it spins some more?
It stops? I didn't think it did that.
Pauses.
That might be...
It's like a server error, but
yeah.
This guy is still moving at the same rate, and this guy doesn't have a problem.
That's really weird.
He's turning slower.
Yeah, that's weird. It shouldn't do that, no. That must be something with the connection. Yeah. That's like the shush Y is slowing you down, I think.
Oh.
Yeah, something's getting... Yeah.